The Cleveland Browns absolutely decimated the Arizona Cardinals today in every phase possible. Offensively, defensively, special teams, 27-0. The Brownies, a winner. Victory Monday on Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB, and the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, and I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The everyday crowd, jump on in, join the everyday crowd by being subscribed to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Of course, Locked On Browns are always available, always free wherever you get your podcasts. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Started a tad bit slow, but boy, did the momentum pick up after that. The Cleveland Browns, their defense, and we said they needed a get-right game. Got two big games coming up against AFC North opponents in the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Needed to feel a little bit better about themselves. There was no reason today's game should have ever been a game, and it was not. A rookie quarterback starting. The Cardinals with their third and fourth running backs. Cardinals without their second leading wide receiver. And Clayton looked every bit of a rookie who was put in a really, really bad spot. Traded away Josh Dobbs, who actually ended up playing today for the Minnesota Vikings. Kyler Murray, you weren't going to start him on the road. You weren't going to start him against the Cleveland Browns defense in his return from ACL injury. So you put the rookie out there trying to get the next phase of the season here for the Arizona Cardinals. And it was a really bad spot for him. And the Browns took advantage every which way but loose. You want to talk about the offensive side of the ball. And we talked about first we'll talk about the offensive side of the ball. And we talked about the need for Deshaun to play this game with two games coming up against the Ravens, of course, and the Steelers, of course. And you saw some of it. Obviously, not seeing everything or overthinking and, believing he was not seeing what he was seeing, underneath throws and in the beginning, first drive or two. And I even put out a tweet. There was no conviction in his throws, these underneath throws. Some of them were low. Some of them were certainly completable. But, for a receiver to have to go to the ground on a short pass defeats the whole purpose of it. Short passing game is all about trying to get run after the catch, yards after the catch. And if a guy's got to make a diving grab for a 2-yard reception or a 3-yard reception, it's not doing anybody any good. Deshaun started to warm up, started to feel his oats a little bit. The big one, obviously, the 59-yard completion with Amari Cooper, stayed in phase. Obviously, a little roll to the left, dance to the left, was able to step into the throw, fired an absolute seed to Amari Cooper, who took it all the way down. Obviously, 59-yard reception. Amari with 5 for 139 and a touchdown today. And then, of course, the throw from Deshaun Watson late in the game. You want to talk about a money ball, a perfect ball. Two guys around Cooper. Amari Cooper did not break stride. There was no diversion. There was no blocking his sight line as far as catching that ball. That was an absolute perfect pass. And we heard during the game, of course, Deshaun Watson talking about the fact that he said he woke up Monday and said he just all of a sudden felt great. The pain tolerance was gone. Felt he could throw the ball without feeling the impingement, the injury, whichever we're going to call it now, because we called it 75 different things. But if he can have that kind of deep ball, and you guys know what I've always said about the Stefanski offense, and it's the one thing that rubs me the right way, is there's just not enough opportunities, just not enough shots taken deep. They were able to do that today. Two big ones to Amari Cooper. Obviously, the second one closed out the game. First one essentially got the game started. Deshaun was able to make some plays with his legs, although I would rather not see that. We're going to be honest there, of course. But Deshaun obviously needed this time. I mean, look, these are big games. Do I think the Browns are ready to walk into Baltimore next week and win the game? That's probably a tough pill to swallow the way the Baltimore Ravens are playing right now. But Deshaun looked everything like he needed to look. The Cleveland Browns are 5-3. The Cleveland Browns took a team that was fighting and was scrappy and was hanging on by a thread and basically had to tell somebody they didn't belong. And that is exactly what the Cleveland Browns did to the Arizona Cardinals today. The rest of the offensive side of the ball, this team did not run the ball well. Jerome Ford, under 3 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt, under 3 yards per carry. Pierre Strong, I think, was 3 for 9. Pierre Strong also a negative reception. He did get some contributions, obviously, from Jerome Ford with 5 receptions for 33 yards. Kareem Hunt scores a touchdown for his 4th straight game. So, you get positive things out of there. And look, these Cardinals, they're not deadbeats. These guys will fight. And like I told you weren't going to know many people on that defensive side of the ball. But these guys went out there and they gave it every bit they had. Certainly going to need, things to pick up for Cleveland, obviously to succeed next week when you go play the Baltimore Ravens. Your sad note, obviously, on the offensive side of the ball. And look, I've been somebody that's been hard on Jedrick Wills in his time here. But if you want to call a spade and be honest about things, Jedrick Wills has been banged up a lot of his time here with the Cleveland Browns. But yet somehow, some way, he finds himself out there every Sunday, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, whatever it is, be that as you may. He finds himself out there every week and gives his team everything he's got. Granted, the results aren't always what we're hoping for, but to see Jedrick Wills go down like that today, and keep in mind, Jedrick Wills went down once in the game. Hudson came in. Wills came back in. Jones goes down. Hudson comes back in. Jones comes back in. Then Wills goes down again, but this time it's an air cast. This time you're getting onto a cart. We're talking most likely probably Jedrick Wills' season here. And obviously we talked about, where this team will go. Obviously Jedrick Wills has his 5th-year option picked up by this team. But there was always going to be a big question about where he was going to stand as far as, playing that role for this team next year. And now, right now, going through the agony of trying to find out MRI, X-rays, just exactly what his future is as far as when he can even return to a football field to even fight for his own playing time. So for that type of situation for Jedrick Wills, I feel the absolute worst for the young man. And I will give him his credit where it's due. Like, again, he went out there banged up a lot. I still go back to his 2nd year in the league. If you guys remember, went down against Kansas City Chiefs, left in a cart, was back the next week playing. Jedrick Wills is a tough SOB. Granted, his play doesn't always, live up to what we're all hoping for. But Jedrick Wills, all the best. Amari Cooper, fantastic job today. And you want to talk about the bitter irony of the way last week's game went. And I saw a lot of it from people on social media. P.J. Walker throws that ball. It bounces off Jamal Adams' helmet, goes in for an interception. P.J. Walker sucks. Deshaun Watson fires a ball off somebody's helmet. He got lucky. Amari Cooper catches it. Guys, you can't, whatever. It's, you just find any way. You all have an axe to grind with everything. Amari Cooper, obviously 5 for 139, touchdown today. Looked good deep. And this is something the Browns desperately need. If they're going to be able to compete with the better teams in the AFC, the NFL overall, they've got to be able to get the ball down the field to work the underneath stuff to players, of course, like Elijah Moore, to players like David Njoku, to get the guys involved out of the backfield more. But quality effort from the offense today. We'll wait and see on Jedrick Wills. The assumption is the news is not going to be good, but the Browns offensively get right and now have to get their heads right as they're going to have to play the Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, back-to-back weeks. We're going to switch it up here. We are going to get a little bit deeper in depth about this defensive domination. The numbers will blow your mind. Jeff Floyd, your latest Locked On Browns. Appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's real simple. You put in what you're looking for: experience, special skills, education. Then you add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you would like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns, and I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The Everyday Crowd just keeps getting bigger. I suggest you all join it by being subscribed to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Locked On Browns is always available. It's always free wherever you get your podcast. Final numbers. The Cleveland Browns shut out the Arizona Cardinals. The Cleveland Browns pitch their first shutout since the 2007 season. That was 10 years prior to me starting my coverage of this team, and I am in my 7th season covering the Cleveland Browns. 7 sacks, 3 turnovers. How about this one? Arizona had 25 yards of offense on their first 3 plays from scrimmage. Their next 45 plays netted a total of 33 yards. You want to talk about an absolute whitewashing. You want to talk about absolutely demoralizing a team. That is what you do to an inferior team. And that is exactly what the Cleveland Browns did today. Yes, the Cardinals were outmanned. And look, boo-hoo, how many years have we talked about a Cleveland Browns loss and said, man, this team's really outmanned. Don't matter. Nobody cares. It's the NFL. It's about wins and wins only. That is the only thing that matters. This team needed to get their heads right. This team needed to realize that they are on the correct path on the offensive side of the ball. Dalvin Tomlinson, 2.5 sacks. Grant Delpit, 8 total tackles, solo tackles, I should say. Half a sack. Shelby Harris's biggest contribution as a Cleveland Brown. So Darius Smith gets into the fold. Myles Garrett was annoying and just annoying the Arizona Cardinals. And how about the play early on where they tried to run the slip screen and their game plan was to leave Myles Garrett unblocked. Clayton Tune threw the ball, and I don't know how Myles didn't catch it because it was literally in his breadbasket. Just another opportunity just to see an absolute freak of nature that number 95 is. Sack, fumble recovery today for number 95. This looked like when somebody else knows somebody else's game plan. The Cardinals just had no answers, and it was a real tough spot for them to be in again. And, I'm not blaming them for what they did. I totally agree with what they did, but they put themselves in a spot where they basically took a trip from Arizona to Cleveland. No, and they didn't have a shot. Didn't have a chance in hell. You had a couple of stupid things, a couple of Hollywood Brown offensive pass interference, a 5'9", 180-pound wide receiver. First things first, why is he blocking? You're calling plays where Hollywood Brown is going to be blocking for you to throw the ball to another receiver. What is that, man? What is that? Those plays should be called to have somebody else blocking for Hollywood Brown, not that way. So certainly didn't work out for them in that way. Clayton Tune, it just wasn't there. Obviously severely overmatched. Interception early to Denzel Ward, another interception later to Sione Takitaki. Fumble recovery, like I said, from Myles Garrett on the forced fumble from Shelby Harris. The coverage was there all day. The good thing and interesting and fun thing today was you got to see some players take some defensive reps because it was a blowout. Mahmoud Diabate, Ronnie Hickman, these guys all got to go on the field late. Zadarius Smith, I think this was one of his better games as he's been at Brown, and this guy's been a little bit banged up throughout the way, but really, really great effort by him today. The Browns get the shutout. The Browns let the league know that their defense is still here. It is still solid. It is still really, really good. You can take a couple of games out and look, every defense in the NFL eventually gets their ticket punched. But the Browns, this is just a special group. And you see the social media reactions. You see the celebrations on the sidelines. You see the celebrations on the field. There is not any guy who plays defense for the Cleveland Browns who doesn't have a celebration with another one of his defensive teammates. These guys are really feeling it. They appreciate each other. They respect each other. They enjoy just generally being around each other. It was said during the game, and I know I've heard this from numerous people, you can't break these guys up. Even they leave the building, it's headed to somebody else's crib for food, watching tape, just generally, being teammates, enjoying each other. We've seen it for a couple of weeks now. You see Myles Garrett on the sidelines just brimming ear from ear, enjoying this new cast he has. Yes, they're all talented. Yes, they all perform. Yes, they all execute, but they're just a bunch of fun guys, and they have a ton of respect for what each other can do. The Juan Thornhills of the world coming in here with Super Bowl rings. Dalvin Tomlinson coming in here with playoff experience. Agba Okoronkwo coming in here with a Super Bowl ring. Shelby Harris coming in here with NFL playoff experience. Zadarius Smith coming in here with NFL playoff experience. This is the culture you're trying to build. And it all started, of course, with bringing Jim Schwartz in and basically saying that side of the building is the defensive side of the building. And whatever you need, coach, just let us know. But it is your show. And obviously the work between he and Andrew Barry to get the talent in here that this team needed, whether it was in the secondary, of course, with Thornhill and McLeod, whether it was revamping this entire defensive line. And this group is good. And it actually chuckled at the end that Zadarius Smith was still on the field when it was a blowout and some of the other backups were playing. It's just how deep they are. Browns don't have anybody else to go to. It's just the way it worked out. Crazy to think, right? But this team now really, really feeling better about themselves after a really disappointing last week against Seattle. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers game. As much as this team is 5-3, we could easily be talking about the 7-1 Cleveland Browns. Ain't nothing you can do about it now. You can only correct what's in front of you. You can't fix what's behind you. But this team, an effort today, and it's a big one next week. Browns, it's always a difficult spot for them when they go down to Baltimore. Baltimore just continues to be white hot right now. Another thrashing today as they thumped around the Seattle Seahawks. But this defense, the way they're going, the way they are working together, if this offense can just find a way to do enough, this team is going to win more games than they lose. Granted, you need to see the best of Deshaun Watson going further, and his last 2 complete starts for the Browns have been the best version of Deshaun Watson we've seen at this time, and that's what this team needs. The Cleveland Browns, arrow up. No doubt about it. We got one last segment to go. Victory Monday on Locked On Browns. I'm feeling good. You're all feeling good. Good day. Good day for the Brownies. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Jeff Lloyd closing it out. Segment 3 here, your latest Locked On Browns. As always, everybody makes the show their first listen every single day. You guys mean the absolute world to me. The everyday crowd just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And if you want to join it, you need to be subscribed to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And of course, Locked On Browns is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. You talk about roster construction and that leading to team success, victories, wins, and trying to get all 3 phases playing as one. And we haven't seen a lot of it this year at times. Obviously, there's weeks where the offenses look good, weeks where the defenses look good. I mean, for the most part, the special teams, and I guess we'll give the special teams, their due here. James Proche, I don't know if I've seen any more excitement out of a Browns punt returner in my 7 seasons here with this team. Everyone had a little juice to it. Everyone felt like there was an opportunity for him to break it. This is over. Proche is you're going to be your punt returner for the rest of the season. He very well may find his way onto the 53-man roster. Goodwin obviously left the game today. Was probably being described as a head injury, most likely a concussion. And obviously a tough road, and I've talked a lot about Marquise Goodwin, all the things he's got on, off the field. But it might be time for some new blood at the wide receiver position and on the field. They just can't find a way to seem to get anything going with Goodwin. And to just advance that role of Cedric Tillman, find a way to get Elijah Moore more involved. This is things this team is going to have to do. It just need to. But obviously Baraquez, the big punt down to the 173 yards. This guy consistently just continues to scull the ball. Dustin Hopkins' accuracy is through the charts. From what this team went through last year, it was absolute helter-skelter. Cross your fingers, get in a fetal position and pray that Cade York would find a way to split the uprights. It is nothing like that this year with Dustin Hopkins. Absolute cool customer, splits them every single time. Remember when the thought was that maybe Baraquez was the problem because he didn't know how to hold? Well, it doesn't seem to be any issues for Dustin Hopkins, huh? So the special teams return game, Proche, valiant effort, and I don't see anybody else taking this job for the rest of the season. That's probably James Proche's job to lose. Dustin Hopkins' continued success, and of course, and Baraquez, absolute. He's been a great addition to this team. Now in his second year, just an absolute monster leg offensively. And look, I still think, there's still some work to be done with Deshaun. And this is going to really, really be a factor playing Baltimore. It's really, really going to be a factor playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers because the pass rush is going to be quicker. The tempo is going to be quicker. The game speed is going to be quicker. He's got to see it. He's got to believe it. And he's got to let it rip. Conviction with throwing the football, like the 59-yarder to a Cooper, like the 49-yarder to Amari Cooper. Deshaun has just got to get back into it and just have full belief within himself. And if he can do that, this team is going to have a really, really monster year here in 2023. It was odd that they really couldn't get the run game going today. Doesn't necessarily bother me, though, because it was really needed to get the passing game back on track. Amari Cooper, we know what Amari has done this year. The Browns need to find a way to get others involved. David Njoku, of course, we got another Chief slam here 2 weeks in a row. Kareem Hunt, 4th game in a row with a touchdown. How about that? How about Kareem Hunt? And there was trips here and there was trips there. And was it Kareem asking for too much money, or was it maybe they weren't as interested as they said they were in Kareem? You get Nick Chubb to go down week 2, and all of a sudden all the air in the Cleveland Browns balloon absolutely gone. There's Kareem, still just hanging out in free agency, waiting for the opportunity. Coach Stefanski, Coach Kareem, they sit, they talk, and obviously there was something there in the past between Kareem Hunt and the Browns. And Coach Steph said, look, I need you. I need 100% of you and whatever it is. And you see Kareem. And obviously this was a tough situation because he had a really, really close relationship with Nick Chubb. But to come in here and understand it wasn't going to be just him. He was going to be part of it. And part of it was he was going to have to help these younger guys. Not necessarily coach them up, but prep them up, geek them up, get them fired up. Get them feeling confident about their abilities and how they could contribute to this team. He's obviously done it for Jerome Ford, who's looked really, really good. He's obviously done it in spurts for Pierre Strong, who's put together some nice moments for himself here with the Browns. And now Kareem, 5 touchdowns in 4 games. Could you imagine where we were before, week 2 even going into that Monday night game, and then said, hey, guess what? Over the next 5-6 weeks, Kareem Hunt's going to score 5 touchdowns for this team. Never would have believed it. Never would have believed it. But credit to Kareem. And obviously putting himself in the back seat as far as his personality, changing who he is and coming in here. And look, man, he was close with Nick Chubb, but there's a lot of guys in this locker room he's got a relationship with. And part of it maybe was, you know what? I owed you guys better. And so he came in here in a better mindset, playing hard, and being the ultimate cheerleader for the rest of his teammates when they're getting their thing done. It's been fun to see. Wide receivers, it's still got to come. You got to get better from Elijah Moore. Cedric Tillman, you got to find a way to get more involved. You can't expect Amari Cooper to carry you week in, week out. It's not a disrespect to Amari, but eventually people are going to take Amari away, and somebody else has got to get it done, and somebody else has got to make some plays. The bigger test comes next week, obviously. As much as this one, I felt, and you guys heard on the pregame show, I thought it should have been a laugher, and it was. The Browns win their third game this season by more than 20 points, shut out the Arizona Cardinals, first shutout since 2007, hold this team to 99 net yards, 7 sacks, 3 turnovers. The defense needed it. But the thing is, you got to carry this confidence and go in and play the Baltimore Ravens. And hopefully for Jim Schwartz, there's a chance here to redo the game plan. You've gotten your first chance, your first look at these guys. You know what didn't work for you last week. So the Browns have a chance to correct that. But you got to play disciplined, and you still got to play with this crazy confidence that they had today, because you want a chance at the AFC North. You absolutely have no choice but to beat the Baltimore Ravens next week. That is the only path that will ever be there for the Browns to get to the AFC North here in 2023. Great day. Browns absolutely crush it in a tune-up game over the Arizona Cardinals, winning 27-0. All phases hit. Deshaun Cooper, defense absolutely lights out. Special teams, a lot of juice from those guys today. So congratulations to Bubba Ventrone and his crew. Cleveland Browns, 27-0 winners. We'll get through the next few days here. We'll start prepping for the Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland Browns, 5-3. Third place technically on a tiebreaker, but you have a chance to fix that in a couple of weeks. Cleveland Browns looking good, playing good. Great day in Cleveland. Beautiful day. Even more beautiful when the Browns win 27-0 and give you a Locked On Browns victory Monday. I am Jeff Lloyd, my 7th season here covering the Browns with you all. Great day. I want more of these great days, so hopefully they continue to come. I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. Join the everyday crowd by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It's always free wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on ELOB. Let's go Browns.